To Bill O'Reilly, you may have been an asshole, but you gave us one of the most quotiest of quotes in all of history.
To Bill O'Reilly, the quotiest quote.
Not quite sure how to describe that. Fucking hell.
God damn it.
So yeah, as the title for this podcast, Jesus.
Ah! Ah! You give me shit, and then look what happened.
Oh yeah. So yeah, as the title sort of says, fuck it, we're doing it live because this episode is just going to be a random mishmash of just shit. And hello to Big Lovin' and Mark Somerville in the chat already. We're kind of just surviving this week because all kinds of shit's going down that we'll get into.
Yep.
And we're just gonna do like either some listener interaction, some AMA, whatever you guys want us to talk about, just fucking throw it in the chat and we'll fucking do it live.
We'll do it live.
So
Fuck it.
yeah, it's long story. We'll get to that when we get to our week. But first, we always start off with a day in Star Wars.
Yes.
Yes. So for the day that we're recording this, December 10th, something about the fucking Clone Wars lithograph debuting in Asia. That's stupid.
That's awesome.
All right. And we get a lot of these too in December for some reason, like the original movies debuting in overseas markets for the first time. Nobody gives a shit. Oh, look at that. 2 days in a row. Germany and fucking Norway or something. Okay, well, this is a good one. December 13th, 1975, 20th Century Fox officially greenlights Star Wars.
That's an important one.
Yeah.
It's fairly significant milestone.
14th. Okay, opens in Venezuela. Ooh, again, so far, like, we're 3 out of 4. 4 out of 5 for opening in foreign markets. Jesus Christ. Okay, this is weird. December 16th, 1977. Wrong. Dark Horse begins a new Star Wars ongoing series of comics, something absent from the comics market since the Marvel run ended in 1986. I think they got their year wrong.
Yeah, 1977. I believe that's before 1986.
Yes. So
I'm not good at math, but I'm pretty sure that would be the case.
Yeah. So get your fucking shit together, Star Wars. However, this Dark Empire.
I blame the Disney buyout.
This Dark Empire series that it's referring to is actually pretty significant. This is the one where Luke goes to the dark side for a brief period of time when the clone emperor came back.
Right.
It was a really weird fucking story, but yeah, it was like a 6-issue comic book series, and it took place between the Heir to the Empire books and the Jedi Academy books.
Okay.
Damn, dude, like both of your eyes are like really red right now.
Yeah, it's awful.
All right, let me just thumb through a couple more of these. Oh, Star Wars Legacy. We got a question about this. Legacy Alliance trade paperback is published. Somebody asked us about the Legacy stuff, so we will.
I'm glad you were taking notes on who was asking what, because I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last day in Star Wars. Last day in Star Wars, we're gonna do December 18th, 2015. The Force Awakens premieres in the U.S.
Woohoo!
So we'll leave it at that. We talked The Force Awakens to death last week.
We did.
Talked about the trailers, talked about the anticipation, talked about how much we fucking love that movie. So, I mean, what else is there to say, really? Oh, and thank you for the compliments on the shirt. Dave has an identical shirt, by the way.
If he had coordinated, we would have been wearing it.
But fuck it, I did it live.
He did it live.
Any word on those patches?
What patches?
This is coming from Big Lovin'.
What patches?
I think we were in the middle of a group chat, and I think one of us was supposed to coordinate with the other about it. We'll get back to you. Thank you for jogging my memory. And hello to Brock.
My memory is shit, boys. So
yeah. So there was really no big news in Star Wars this week. We already talked about the Thrawn alliances last week, or Thrawn treason last week. So.
Oh yeah.
Nothing else Star Wars news-wise that I'm aware of really hit the wire.
Me either.
So we might as well just jump right into our week then.
Let's do it.
So, and also, again, remember, we're doing an AMA this week. So people, please throw some questions in the chat. We've got some questions already saved on Facebook that we'll pull up and answer. But I've been so fucking busy since the last time we've recorded. In fact, since the last time we recorded, I have not had a day off from work. So, and
now... let's see, you got back in November, right?
Yeah.
So this is probably the first 30 dozen that you've had
Yep.
since then.
Yep.
So
Because I got back while they were on that last one. Like
Right.
that Saturday that I got back was a work
so
Saturday.
there's your reindoctrination to that
Yes.
magnificent
Yes, being a member of a National Guard unit, you're required to do your 1 weekend a month. Unfortunately, they don't compensate you with days off, so
Nope.
you still have to work Monday through Friday, the week before and after. So I'm in the middle of a long ass work week, and honestly, this weekend was probably the busiest work weekend I've ever had in the whole fucking time I've been in the National Guard. I was busy from fucking 6 a.m. Saturday morning until 5:30 p.m. Sunday night. It was just nonstop fucking go, 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 go. And then we had our Christmas party Saturday night after work, after I finished at like 5:30 on Saturday. So I rolled right into the Christmas party, fucking exhausted the whole weekend. And I'm still recovering. Like, even though I got to sleep in a little bit today, still had to go to work. And I just like, I cannot get my fucking energy back.
Well,
So.
the good news is that you'll have a down Friday coming up. So
Not this
no,
week.
that's right. It's not because of the fucking Christmas holiday.
But the next off Friday we do have is my birthday. So
Hooray!
hooray! That's a celebration. Oh,
it's a celebration, motherfucker.
I don't have the soundboard.
Wait,
God damn it, Leroy.
Well, you said your iPad was dead anyway.
That's true. But
this is what we're doing live.
Yes, we are doing it fucking live. Holy shit. And really, that's been my week. I haven't done anything. Haven't played Battlefront. Haven't read any Star Wars comics, books. No. Haven't rewatched any movies, any TV shows. It sucked. So
probably the closest thing you got into Star Wars is wearing that T-shirt and having it on your Apple Watch.
yes, which still got my same faces and everything. But I did have breakfast this morning with a really good friend, and we had some good discussions. Not really about Star Wars, but about work. So
who is this?
You.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was this morning.
Yeah, I got to go in late to work, and I guess you just kind of left work.
I took an early lunch.
Okay.
I took an early lunch.
Holy shit, that was your lunch break?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I just worked through the regular lunch hour. Actually, we'll get into it.
And fuck, I don't really have anything else to talk about for my week because it's just been one blur. Long story short, I did the job of about 5 people over the course of the weekend. So I did 5 people's worth of work over 2 long ass days over the weekend, and really in the like 3 to 4 days building up to that fucking weekend. Because this shit takes a lot of practice.
That's the bitch about the drill weekend going into it is you have to get like people come in a little bit earlier, and you have to like start planning out what you're going to do for the weekend. Now and getting ready for when the traditional drill status guardsmen come in, because you have to have shit for them to do, and there's fucking bad boy lists that they're on, and you got to deconflict all this shit, and oh by the way, get people ready to actually do the mission. So it's not for the people that are there full time in the National Guard, especially in the Air National Guard. Like, to be honest, I don't think the Army National Guard deals with half the bullshit that we did in the Air National Guard, because the Air National Guard is the mission for the Army National Guard is like they're either going to go out there and shoot things, for most, because most of those guys are infantry. There's not a whole lot of armored divisions or anything else in the Air National Guard, or the Army National Guard rather, but you have so many more taskings and duties being an Air National Guard, because you're trying to emulate the Air Force and yet also try and stay current in the state mission, air quote. And it's such fucking horseshit. It should be, honestly, the Air National Guard shouldn't exist. It really shouldn't. It should be, all of that should be part of the reserves.
Yeah,
but that's a question for the how the Air Force should work podcast. We'll start at some point when you retire.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. We'll probably have to save that 2 more years. 2 years. So
allegedly.
Yeah, and really, like I said, that's it. That's all I'm fucking doing. Oh, hang on.
Oh God. Jesus, George. Oh, you got your dollar.
Yes, because as you may or may not remember, a couple of sports episodes ago, we bet as to whether or not John Gruden would make it to Las Vegas. So Dave already plunked down $1. That's right. I am matching his $1. So we have another bet.
That's right.
On the Mixer O'Cash. So $2.
We should be writing this down as to what this money is actually for.
I'm just expecting,
because the Phasma bet's still on there.
Yeah, right? I'm still expecting people like Big Lovin', Bronco Fett, Mark Somerville, Isaac Sipe, all those guys to keep track of this for us. So yeah, keep track of that. And then we've got the Phasma bet, the $5 Phasma bet.
Yep.
Well, $10 total, obviously. So whether or not she shows up in episode 9, which I'm pretty sure I got that in the bank. And then we have a double or nothing bet that I think I lost already, but I don't remember what it was for. So we bet something for $1, and then we did double or nothing, and I put the $2 back up, and I don't fucking remember what it was for. So we'll just keep it there until maybe one day we remember, or
somebody tells us
Yeah.
what that bet was about.
yeah. So
Really should write this shit down.
Yeah.
So real quick before I get on to my week, so Bronco Fett was saying, talking about reservists. I thought you were active duty. So we were like when I was still in the other unit, and Jason was in that unit, as we were active guard and reservist. So it's what Big Lovin was verifying as active guard. So when we were in the other unit with our flying mission, that was basically the equivalent of taking an active duty unit, because we were all active.
Yep.
And taking active duty unit and attaching it to a guard unit for AdCon. For the military people, they understand what that means.
Yeah.
And so we had AdCon attached to a guard unit, but our OpCon was to Air Force Special Operations Command.
Yeah.
So that was the differentiation. And as soon as we actually went and started flying in the airplane, we had AdCon and OpCon switch over, just like a normal active duty unit. So
Right.
for people that aren't in the military, don't know what the fuck I was talking about, Google it.
Yeah.
Or don't worry about it.
Yeah. Basically, we were in an active duty status working for a guard unit.
Right.
It's
And then we weren't supposed to be working for that guard unit. However, they would strap us across a fucking barrel and beat us and make us pay constantly. They would take our budget money, appropriate it to us, because they were a fucking shit show and they had a shit budget. So we'd have to buy $25,000 fucking snowplows and all this fucking bullshit because they couldn't afford it, and they would use our money to do it.
Yeah.
And it would make us feel like shit because they're all active duty.
Yeah.
Like, well, get a fucking better job, you cock knuckles. I can say this shit now because I'm out of the fucking unit.
The viewpoints of Dave Martin do not reflect that of Jason Roscom or the All Things Star Wars podcast.
No, fuck it. That's the reflection of the Star Wars podcast, just not Jason. We won't implicate Jason in this, but as a retiree and a fucking somebody who started out in the Air National Guard as a traditional and went into active duty, I can tell you they fucking suck. Yeah. And I work as a contractor for an active duty unit now, and I can tell you right now, the fucking guard is way more active duty than active duty is,
which is weird to think about.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. But anyway,
but I also believe it. So I don't know how we got off on that tangent.
Well, it's Bronco Fett, and he's asking Guard and Reserve, one is state, one is federal. That's not true, especially for the Air National Guard. In fact, we were just having this conversation offline about it, and the state mission of the National Guard is when you're activated by the governor. If you're active guard, you're doing a federal mission, so you're being federally funded. So, but you can be activated and still do the state mission for a certain period of time within the law. Again,
like work hurricane shelters,
like for almost a month.
Yeah,
which was not legal. Again, not the viewpoints of Jason Roscom. However, definitely the viewpoints of this guy, and also there'll be a book about it.
Still waiting for that book.
Oh, I'm ready. As soon as I'm done with this year's Worshipful Master, then we'll talk about it. So
sweet.
Enough with the fucking guard.
Yeah.
That if the AMA, keep it to Star Wars.
Yeah.
Or not. I don't care.
Yeah. But I'm not seeing a lot of questions in the chat.
We could give a doctoral level thesis on fucking the merits of the Air National Guard and whether or not they should actually exist, or should where airplanes are owned and shit like this. You say that in Idaho, but Bronco Fett saying Idaho, it's totally different. I actually knew somebody in the Air National Guard in Idaho. We worked on A-10s. He was my basic training roommate. And understand that the Air National Guard does not own any airplanes. Except for, actually, technically they own a couple of C-130s. But that's it. Every fucking airplane in the inventory of the Air National Guard is owned by the fucking Air Force. So to think that a state owns any fucking airplanes is a fallacy, and that's the law. I know these things. Trust me. So yeah, again, we could do a whole podcast based on the ebbs and flows of how the Guard works, but that's yeah. We went through this thing. So back in when all the BRACs were happening, the Base Realignment and Closure Acts that were mandated by Congress, and McGuire managed to survive them thanks to a very gung ho representation in Congress. And
which is that still Republican held? Yeah.
No, it's not.
Okay.
So
we're fucked next time.
Yeah, basically, if they have a BRAC, which they won't.
Yeah.
Because there's BRACs that were supposed to save all that money. They're still paying to keep those bases open and functioning. But with no military members on it, so they have to pay contractors to keep the upkeep of those bases.
Which is why the government shouldn't be trusted to do anything.
Or just keep the fucking bases open. If you're not going to close them and fucking shutter the doors and sell the property, then fuck. Yeah. But some of those properties they can't because there's fucking all these environmental issues and they can't sell the property. It's a whole fucking thing. So anyway, it's goddamn tree huggers' fault for that shit. But regardless of all that, they closed Willow Grove Naval Air Station.
Right.
Closed, air quote, closed.
Mm-hmm,
They're closing this base, right? They were supposed to sell the fucking airfield to FedEx, and this whole thing was going to happen. And Ed Rendell, who was the governor of Pennsylvania at the time, stood in this nationally televised press conference and told everybody how the state of Pennsylvania needed the A-10 aircraft for their defense. So apparently in Pennsylvania, they're going to use A-10 Warthogs to fend off New Jersey. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck he thinks he was going to do with them. And oh, by the way, you're not going to task an A-10 to go do fucking hurricane support, right? You're not flying A-10s down to Hurricane Katrina for strafing runs.
Yeah,
you know, in New Orleans. That's just not going to happen.
Fuck you, hurricane.
Yeah, fucking. So,
oh my god,
yeah, politicians have a very skewed view of how the military works, and yeah, it's believe me, it's a whole thing. Again, doctoral level stuff. So, moving on from that, let's talk about my week and just get it over with. So, as busy as Jason's been, you know, I can't claim to be that busy, especially at work. However, I started having a problem with my eye, which I documented some of it on Facebook, and I'm itching the fuck out of it now, and I'm not supposed to be.
For God's sakes, don't touch your eyes.
Yeah. So I started having an issue with my eye. On Friday, it went full-blown, like, swollen, blood in it, the whole fucking shoot match. And I was actually cleaning my glasses thinking, oh, my glasses are really, really dirty. And as it turns out, no, my eye just isn't working.
Yeah.
Like my left eye right now, when I look through it, everything is got the sheen, like looking through bathroom glass, fogged over type thing. So trying to, like, this week for me is finals week, you know, for all my classes.
Good timing for that to happen.
I had a research paper that was due last week. I can't read screens to get my research paper done. I just barely managed to do the calculus because you don't necessarily have to read so much off the fucking screen to do it. I could write this shit down and kind of one eye it. Driving has been amazing, trying to do that with one eye, and it's really especially shitty at night because of the way the lights are, and the one eye that's like glazed over, like, so that light is like it's like real bright. So now my eyes are doing this shit, and it'll randomly shut itself. They're like, no, I'm done being an eye for now, and then the eye will shut. So it's been great. Turns out I have some sort of fucking infection in my eye. Awesome. Yeah. And when will it go away? Oh, who knows? I got to put some fucking ointment in my fucking eye. That's the solution. Like, ointment. I got to put it in my fucking eyelid, a drop of it, and then fucking keep my eyes shut for 5 minutes.
Oh, Jesus.
Put it in my eye.
It's fucking disgusting.
It better fucking work. That's all I can say.
I know, right?
Fucking work. And it's not even going to be ready till tomorrow. It's like this medicine that they had to go to fucking Zimbabwe to go get or some shit. I don't know why Zimbabwe. That just came into my head.
Well,
it begins with a Z. That's why I give it Zimbabwe.
Yeah, two things. First of all, what you really need to be doing is wearing an eye patch. That would make for some really good picture opportunities, and I think you should consider doing that. You know, it could kill some of the glare when you're driving.
Yeah, but so I can close it and drive, but the problem is even maybe with the eye patch it would help, but there's just like this weird like focal thing that's happening when I'm just using one eye. So it's a fucking shit show, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
So I'm dealing with that and trying to get finals, like go into finals week and get my research papers done, and try to get through calculus with a fucking C. By the by, rant number one on the podcast, because we know there's a big one coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're combining the sports shit this week. So.
Yeah, it's because we're trying to get everything, like it's been a long week.
Yeah.
For both of us. So I fucking they're like hammering us to get the course critiques in for this semester's classes.
For your college classes?
For the college classes. Yeah, they have an end of course evaluation.
Okay.
I have never critiqued a civilian class. We'll say that. I've critiqued the shit out of military courses.
Oh, of course.
Because I'm a complete fucking shitbag for that. I will lose my mind on people. In fucking tech school when they were teaching first aid and we're teaching people CPR without any kind of certification. I'm like, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Oh boy, the shit storm that I created in that fucking place where I had to have some fucking captain come down and tell me like, all right, just shut up and color. It's noted. We're not changing the curriculum. You can be mad about it, but we're not changing it.
Because you were a lifeguard before that.
I was.
So you knew all those rules.
I did.
And shit.
It was oh god, whatever. So anyway, that's the kind of person I am. So I'm not going to let a course like critique go unused if I can affect change, or at least think I'm going to affect change. They should not be teaching calculus strictly online unless you've had a background in it. And then if you do have a background in it, then why do you have to take this class? So Embry-Riddle now has gone like in these new course catalogs where every single fucking you can be doing a fucking human resources class. You could be doing a professional development course. You have to have calculus 1 and 2. It's really? Moronic. It's fucking moronic. And because they've required it, and I said this in a critique, since they now require it for all these curriculums, you have to push it online. Because otherwise you never be able to fill all these classes because it's a required class.
Yeah.
The problem is that you pre-test before you go into these courses, right? I had done college algebra already, which should fucking counted and didn't. But I'd already done that. So whatever I did in the pre-test didn't matter. I was able to take the Calc 1 or the intro or whatever.
Yeah.
And those courses are not fucking designed to be we'll talk about it in a second. That's one of the questions.
Yep.
Those courses weren't designed to be taught online because it's really you're losing. If you already have a background in it, then you can go ahead and say, all right, I understand what's going on here. I can solve these problems, and they're not teaching themselves as much. The rest of us who aren't there are now teaching ourselves fucking calculus. Like, do you think you could go and fucking teach yourself calculus?
Not easily.
No, most people can't. I'm one of them. I'm not a fucking math guy. History, all this other shit I can fucking do. And I have a mechanical mind, but not a math and mechanics in my brain don't go hand in hand. Yeah. Like I'd be better off seeing slopes and doing all those other things to be able to calculate things without actually knowing all the math behind it. Especially because most of this fucking math, oh, by the way, can be done on a fucking calculator. I'm not writing goddamn programs. It's certainly not part of my degree program to write code to fucking calculate this shit because there's shit that does it for you. Again, why does a non-engineering degree program have to have fucking Calc 1 and 2? It's moronic.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
But they're making $750 a fucking course from everybody who's going into this that has to do it one way or the other. And oh, by the way, if you fucking don't score high enough to make it into the Calc 2, you got to take Calc 1 again. So they're doubling their fucking money.
Oh, of course.
For the people that are left behind. And, and I know what the response people like, oh, well, there's this Eagle Vision thing, which is like an in-classroom environment, which would be great, which would actually be very effective because it's 1 day a week. It's like
like a webcam and all
yeah,
that.
Yeah, so it's the webcams like this setup right here. Like I'm waving at things that are over here that you can't see.
Yeah.
And so that's the fucking setup. And then you're interacting with a fucking professor and they will actually teach something.
Yeah.
How isn't that amazing that you would go to a fucking college course and you might actually get taught something as opposed to having a professor who's basically grading discussion board posts, which why the fuck would I need a discussion board in a goddamn calculus class? So I can write, oh, you are a famous mathematician who's looking for a job.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm not a fucking mathematician. I'm in a professional aeronautics fucking degree with a safety minor, for God's sakes, and management.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck do I need to go pretend I'm a mathematician for? Because I'm not. It's fucking moronic. And this is like every week there's some bullshit discussion board class. Oh, and they have this for this week, they have they're calling it a study hall. It's in a fucking discussion group, right? And it's like, this is the brilliance of this is the professor teaching us something. He starts out with a fucking question out of the book. Somebody answers that question, and the next person has to ask a question out of the book. And boom, 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 boom. So you know what everybody's asking? The easiest shit fucking ever.
Of course.
So because they don't want to fuck over somebody else. So what am I learning? What is that reinforcing for the final? Absolutely fucking nothing. It's a waste of my fucking time. I shouldn't have to fucking do it. It sure as shit shouldn't be 20% of the fucking grade.
Yeah.
Because it's not teaching me math. That's the whole purpose of being in this fucking course. Or it should be, as opposed to being the fucking money grab that they're getting at Embry-Riddle.
Oh, yeah. It works out great for them.
Absolutely it does.
Yeah.
And then this is what should happen. And I'm a solution guy, right? I fucking spent 20 minutes typing with one eye. Typing all this shit out.
Oh, yeah. Back to the critique.
Yeah. This is a fucking critique. So I'm critiquing the shit out of this thing. I'm making myself laugh. You know, at one point they were asking about, oh, how did you feel about the course? I was like, well, they should have fucking just called it Teach Yourself Calculus 101. Because that's what I fucking did this entire time. And oh, by the way, here's the best part for you at home. The best part of this fucking was that the book that they gave us and gave assignments out of, the way they solved problems in the book was not consistent with how the fucking computer software that we use, because we use this My Math Lab thing. So the answer and the way the formulas were written in the fucking book didn't match to how they were solving it in the fucking computer. So not only am I can't even use the fucking book to help me pass the final, because guess what the final's out of? The fucking computer. All the homework and quizzes and all that other bullshit were off the computer.
So why do you even have a book?
So they can get $180.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
It's a fucking scam. It is a fucking scam. And what should happen? This is what should happen. And I put this in a critique because I think it's warranted. You should have, if you're going to have a pretest go into this, you should have criteria that's like, okay, you had this much proficiency in a material. Those people should be able to handle the online environment because they're already have enough knowledge of the subject matter that they can operate without having to be watched necessarily.
Sure.
And if you don't meet that criteria, but you still qualify for the class, then you have to do something like that Eagle Vision, or you have to go find a classroom environment to do it in. Or let me go take it at another place. Because I asked them, like, hey, can I go to one of the community colleges here, take this fucking math course, and apply it to my degree? You know what they fucking told me? They told me, well, since you're this far into the program, they're not going to accept any credits from anywhere else.
What? That's horseshit. And that was the first thing when we were first talking about this months ago.
Yep.
And you brought this up. I'm like, why don't you just go take it at like the local Camden County College or something?
Because they won't let me.
That's fucking.
They fucking
bullshit.
won't let me. Yeah, it is absolute insanity. And I did. I'm not quiet about it. I fucking beat the hell out of that critique. And I also told them, I want feedback. I want the professor to see this because I called him a fucking moron. I said, I don't understand why this individual is being paid to teach a class when he's not teaching anything.
Yeah.
And he's not even responding to fucking emails. I don't know what the fuck else he does. He must have a job at fucking Walmart or something because that's what's occupying his time. It sure shit isn't answering an email for me saying, hey, I don't understand this concept. Do you have any way that I could do this better? Like you see where I'm doing all my homework. Is there a better way to do this that I understand it?
And nothing, huh?
Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. Oh, I can't read. My eyes all fucked up. No response. oh, I can't, this project that I turned in, you didn't give me a grade for. Nothing. No fucking response. This guy should be fucking fired. If I see this guy in person, I will kick his dick so hard it'll fucking fly out his nose. If he even has one. Fucking prick. Yeah. And he's making money
doing nothing apparently.
To teach a class that all he's doing is grading discussion boards.
Yeah. That's got to be
that are nonsense.
I bet he makes a pretty good living too. Bet he makes more than us. Yeah, fucking soundboard's down. Sorry, Big Lovin'. All right, I'm seeing we got a couple of questions in the chat. Do we want to start addressing some of these, or do we want to
sound? What?
All right, let's do an interim Q&A session, and then we'll get to football. How's about that?
Sure.
All right. Mark Somerville asked how your eye is, so clearly we have that.
Yeah, my eye sucks. Thanks for asking.
We can't wait for our 100th episode. Who's coming? Shit. I guess we need to talk about that. 100th episode is scheduled to be in April. I'm going on vacation in April, and Star Wars Celebration is happening in April. So we need to look at a calendar and figure out when this is happening, because apparently we have a caravan coming. We have a migrant caravan that's on its way to New Jersey. So we have to figure this out. Along those same lines, the guy, Bronco Fett, is asking if he takes an Amtrak, what city should he stop in along the way? What's between here and fucking Idaho that's worth going to? Not Chicago. It's St. Louis? But even St. Louis is kind of a dump.
Unless you want to see an XFL team. I don't think it'll be ready by then,
though. Yeah, what else is in the north between here and fucking Idaho?
So my daughter wants to do in the summer, she wants to do this like cross-country thing, like basically cross-country train ride to San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So Amtrak does a cross-country thing when they have certain stops. I would go ahead and look at something like that, and see what their itinerary is, and then plan your stops along that. I mean, just Google a map and see what's out there. I mean, there might be the largest ball of wax or something might be out there. I mean, who knows?
Just don't book anything yet, because we got to look at calendars and we got to figure this out. Because
let us set a date for this, and then make sure we have the appropriate venue. We might have to do it at lodge if we have enough people. Like we could bring people by to see the studio in whatever state.
Well, yeah,
there's going to be.
If like 3 or more people come, there's not enough room in here.
Yeah, we'll all be breathing on each other, and it'll be gross. It would smell. Trust me, Jason smells. You don't see that in the thing, but he definitely. Goddamn.
I put on deodorant. I take a shower every other day. So
oh my god,
joking.
Yeah,
shower every day.
Didn't we have a conversation on the podcast about showering?
Well, about one of us and their showers, not me.
Aquaman.
Yes.
as my wife and kids would say.
Speaking of Aquaman, I hope that movie fucking crashes and burns when it comes out, because Warner Brothers, they've lost sight of how to make a good fucking superhero movie. I think Wonder Woman was like a complete fucking accident, because by all intents and purposes, that should have been just as shitty of a movie as Batman v Superman and everything else. So the broad that fucking directed that movie got lucky, did the right things, and fucking actually made it a decent movie. Everything else they've made since like the second Dark Knight movie are just fucking trash. They're fucking garbage. And I hope Aquaman fucking crashes and burns and they got to reset this whole goddamn universe.
You don't think you're going to get the all the Game of Thrones fans that want to see old boy with his fucking shirt off, like running around?
No, I don't think you're going to get that big of an audience. And because the movies that this asshole has already appeared in this fucking franchise have all been like shit, because he had that brief cameo in Batman v Superman and he was in Justice League. Both movies just got annihilated by critics.
I haven't seen since, aside from Wonder Woman, I haven't seen anything since we sat through Batman versus Superman.
Yeah,
I'll never forgive you for that.
I know. And you know what? I apologize. I was wrong. You were right.
This is what that's what the $2 was about. How much of a fucking shit show that movie was going to be.
You were right. I was wrong. You're really good looking. I'm not attractive.
Thank you.
As long as I'm willing to admit that.
As long as you're willing to admit that.
Yeah, no. Fucking, I hope Aquaman just dies a horrible death. And
I don't think you need to hope. I think it's just a matter of when.
Yep. So This is interesting. So as you pull that out, Yasovan, the armored titan, asked, "How did we get the C-3PO
It's a
head?"
great name. So,
well, I think I know who that is. I think it's somebody that's related to me.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
might actually be living in that house. So,
that one over there.
Yeah.
So the C-3PO head, I think I told the story when I brought it by.
You did.
Or
Yeah.
no, it was not when we're still doing remote. Ooh, it's just triple. It's just double A's in here. So I was visiting my sister and my niece and nephew on my way back from Myrtle Beach, and what happened was this was hanging in my nephew's room, and he was getting a little creeped out by it hanging there, because I'll be honest with you, it's pretty fucking creepy. It really is. Like, it's, I mean, even though it's flat on the back, it's like life size.
Yeah,
The eyes
it's
light
the
up.
perfect size.
It's like C-3PO is fucking staring into your
But
soul.
but at the same time, he also looks like dead, dead C-3PO.
This is what his fucking head would look like.
Yeah.
I mean, when there's a oh, Master Luke. when there's his head's bobbing around like this, it has more like lifelike. Or that just looks like he's got a drinking problem. But it's
or Parkinson's.
I wasn't going to say that, but yes. So, do you have double A's in here?
No.
You don't have them for your controller or anything?
No. Double A's are a precious commodity in this house.
Oh,
Kristen buys them at Costco by the fucking case, and they are still constantly being used.
Yeah, I'm hoping Santa might bring me a rechargeable controller station.
Ooh,
nice.
My house.
But anyway, so I'm going to take these out so it doesn't ruin it.
Yeah.
Since these batteries are dead. But so anyway, so when I stopped by my niece and nephew and they were talking to them, it was right around my birthday, and that's when I got a mug from that my sister brought back from Washington, and they gave this to me for the studio because it was creeping Eric out. So
yeah, it was like hanging up in his room or something.
It was hanging in his room, and I would be creeped if you woke up in the middle of the night and saw this looking at you.
It's like, Jesus Christ,
look at me. It's like, again, staring into your soul.
And Bronco Fett had one more question about his train ride. Where in New Jersey should he stop to be closest to us? You shouldn't stop in New Jersey. You should stop in Philadelphia. There's a Philadelphia Amtrak like right over there. Take me about 25-30 minutes to get there at the most. Depending on traffic.
Yeah.
Because you got to go through kind of the city, and instead of turning like left where you would go to the airport, you go right.
There's a Penn Station in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And that's where you would go. That's where the main train Amtrak hub is.
Yeah.
In fact, Amtrak is based out of Philly. Their headquarters is in Philadelphia.
Yeah, because you got to remember, we're in South Jersey, like on the border of fucking Philadelphia. So like the next closest city to us is fucking Philly. It's right there. Like we could get in the car right now and be in Philly 15 minutes from now.
Yeah.
So
it's less than that, honestly. As long as the 295 is lightened up from the evening traffic. But
yep. All right. So one more quick question before we get back into our week, and then we'll finish with more Q&A. So Big Lovin' just wrote, do we think an episode 9 teaser will drop this month? So we talked about the teasers last month or last episode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're going to see it this month. I've been thinking about it, and I think they were a little bit late getting the production started for episode 9, later in the year than they started the Force Awakens production. So I don't think that they're going to have enough footage ready to put into some sort of a comprehensive trailer to release this month.
Well, he's asking about a teaser, not necessarily about a trailer.
True.
I think you could. I think you could see a teaser this month.
Yeah,
I think you could.
Well, I mean, I will say this was about 2 weeks ago. I saw some clickbaity headline: new Avengers and Star Wars trailers to be released in December. Well, the Avengers one has come to pass. Now that could have just been a fucking shot in the dark because Avengers is coming out in May.
Right.
So we're really close to that. So could an episode 9 one happen this month? Sure, it could, but I just don't see it happening. And you know what? Bronco Fett makes a good point. The first teaser could be during the Super Bowl.
I think you'll definitely see something during the Super Bowl, but I think you'll look. It's a year out, right? It's kind of a milestone marker for when we should see things for these movies. I think that if they really want to get some hype built for this movie and really legitimate or not, that get that stink off of them from The Last Jedi. And I think they need to tease it like they did Force Awakens. Like we just talked about last week, all this stuff that came out really got everybody like in a good mood and to get really hyped to go see that. And obviously the Force Awakens had other stuff going on with it too, but I think if they're smart, they'll get something out there, even if it's just a fucking title.
Yeah.
If they could have a short thing with Star Wars kind of flying in slowly and then bang, a title with some that would be something.
It doesn't have to be much.
You don't have to show any of the production.
It could be like the Millennium Falcon flying by, and then just like somebody's hands holding a lightsaber that it ignites, and then it's Star Wars Episode 9, The End of the Skywalkers, or whatever. And then people would be like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, I think less is going to be more. But you need to do it earlier than later. That's my opinion of it.
Here's what I would do if I was Disney. I'd do one of two things.
Besides fire Kathleen Kennedy?
I'm specifically in reference to an Episode 9 trailer.
All right, fair enough.
I'd either release it on, what did we say, the 15th of December, or the 18th, the anniversary of Force Awakens. I would either release it on that day, or I'd wait and I'd drop it Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Star Wars fans. This is
during a parade, during one of the parades or something.
Yeah, this is our gift to you. So that's what I'd do if I was Disney.
But it would be in December. I do think we'll see something in December.
Okay, cool. Well, that's the answer to that question, and we're going to pause questions until we finish our week, and then we'll get back to whatever questions we have. Well, we haven't talked about football yet.
We didn't talk about football yet. Oh my god! just loosen up my neck.
Yeah.
Squint my eyes.
Episode 9 end game.
That would be hilarious, actually.
Yeah, I don't know why I find that so funny, but yeah.
All right, I'm ready. Let's talk. Let's talk about it.
Well, I mean, so I turned on the game. I was following the score. We're talking about the Eagles Cowboys, if you couldn't figure it out.
Duh.
I'm following the score. I see like 9-0, 9-0, 9-0. Fucking third quarter, 9-0. I'm like, God damn, the fuck's going on with the Eagles? Then all of a sudden it's like 6-0 because they scored and fucking missed an extra point. Apparently,
it was 9-6, not 6-0, 9-6.
You know what I mean? But
they might not.
And what's his nuts missed PAT, right?
I know. Yes, he did. Elliot.
And that was huge. Okay, this whole PAT change, and that was big. And I turned it on like right at the end of the third quarter. Eagles had the ball down by 3, and they looked like they were starting to drive to fucking score. And I think they ended up getting a field goal on that one. And that's when the fucking trade-offs started.
So, all right, if we're going to talk about this game, oh god, my eye is killing me.
It's because the blood's starting to like rush and like his veins are starting to expand as he's thinking about this game.
I need that adrenaline rush. I should not be rubbing my eyes. Why you let me do this, Jason?
I'm powerless to stop you at this point.
Oh god, just hit me with a stick or something. Or the lightsaber. Maybe not that one. We have to talk about the start of this game,
right? Because I missed that part.
So, and I heard it on the radio, and I came back and I saw it on replay. So the beginning of this game, the first 14 seconds was, Dallas got the ball on the kickoff. They fumble the ball
on the kickoff
return, and 5 Eagles get on top of the ball. Right. One of the linebackers comes out with the ball in his hands. It goes to review in the booth. Because it wasn't called a fumble on the field, it went to the booth. And what they said was that or Mike Pereira, that fucking, first of all, well, second of all, or whatever I already started with, Troy Aikman should never call a fucking Eagles game, especially Eagles Dallas.
Yeah.
Because that motherfucker cannot be unbiased.
No.
I've never heard him more biased than he was in this fucking game. Right. And the cock-knuckle sitting next to him needs to fucking fall on an H tree and die. But I've already mentioned that. And Mike Pereira, their fucking NFL refereeing expert.
Yeah.
Guess what, dude? You're not on the fucking field anymore. Maybe the year after you were on the field, you were relevant. You're not fucking relevant anymore. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, don't validate whatever's going on the field because it's wrong. It's fucking wrong. And everybody that's listening to this and watching it on television is going to say, well, you should know what he was talking about. No, he doesn't. He's going to take the fucking party line like everything else. So when this play happens and there's not a single fucking Cowboy near the ball and there's 5 fucking Eagles, NBC Sports Philadelphia took a screenshot of that play. 5 Eagles. One of the Eagles comes out with the ball in his hand. Under review, the review states there was no clear recovery of the fucking fumble.
Wow.
Dallas keeps the ball.
Wow.
No clear recovery. What the fuck is happening? What the fuck? After you see that, and after that happens to you, you go like, you can't not be a football player. I was talking about this with guys at work today, and you cannot not let that affect you.
Yeah.
That has to affect your mentality of the fucking game. Like, you're going into Dallas. You want to stomp on their fucking necks. The first play of the game, you recover a fumble. You get the ball before they even can do anything, potentially score. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, we're taking that back. Fucking Cowboys ball. No clear recovery. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Watch that shit and all the fucking bad calls in this game. And tell me that there isn't some fucking collusion there. Yeah. You can't tell me. They mentioned it on WIP this morning, and I fucking hate listening to Philly radio, especially after a fucking loss, because there's so many fucking morons that call. Yeah. But I just happened to be flipping through to get to my fucking Sirius XM shit, and I heard the female that's on that broadcast crew in the morning made a comment that if you look back at these past 3 Cowboys games during their winning streak, every single one of those has had help from the referee. Really? One point or another. Oof. How the fuck do you not like you? There are some of the guys and legitimately, all right, look, in Philly, we're obviously going to have a bias. We hate fucking the Cowboys. We certainly hate losing to Cowboys twice in one fucking season. Mm. I mean, that's enough to drive people to fucking jump off the Walt Whitman Bridge. But to have it done in such an overt way with the officiating, to have it done where the first fucking play of the game, it establishes that, guess what? We're on the payroll. Yeah. Whether you believe it or not. Well, the fucking refs are on the Dallas payroll, and then they kept continuing to prove it throughout the game. Yeah. There were obvious makeup calls, and those makeup calls did not affect the game like taking away a fucking touchdown for fucking offensive pass interference when the guy made contact within the first 3 fucking yards, never extended his arms, never even moved the guy.
Just kind of grazed each other.
Yeah, offensive pass interference. Go fuck yourself. Yeah. And any fucking self-righteous cocksucking Cowboys fan should understand that, guess what? The NFL fucking is handing you your season, and I can't wait till Jason Garrett chokes on Jerry Jones's fucking dick right in the middle of the fucking playoffs, because guess what? They're going to make the playoffs and they're going to get the fucking dicks kicked in, and they deserve it. I would fucking nuke that entire goddamn stadium and all the fuck faces that would be in it. All of them. Fuck all those guys, because they're so fucking self-righteous. All these cocksuckers that walk around in Philly that are like, oh, well, we're Cowboys fans and you're in Philly. Oh, what? Did you grow up in Dallas, you fucking assholes? Or do you just like being Cowboys fans because other people get mad at you? Yeah. There's so many of these fucking idiots walking around here where they're wearing their Cowboys gear. And yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan. No, you're fucking not. You're just a shitbag. That's what you are. You want to create trouble. You want to get the fuck beat out of you in a parking lot. And I've watched these people. Their fucking Giants gear. It's not as bad with the Giants. But people walk around with fucking their Cowboy shit on, walking around the fucking parking lot at the link. You know, walking into tailgates and everything, like, yeah, say shit to me. Yeah, you're going to fucking die in that parking lot. You're going to walk past the wrong fucking person, and you're going to get your shit kicked in. Yeah. And guess what? Good on you. We had this guy. We had fucking, remember Double D? We had a fucking guy. He was a civilian working our squadron, the old squadron. Yeah. And he was a Cowboys fan. And we took him to a fucking Eagles game. And he wears fucking hat. He got all liquored up on Crown Royal. Wears fucking hat. Was going through the parking lot. Me and the other guy were like, dude, you're on your own. Yeah. You want to start some shit? You're on your fucking own. I'll watch you get the shit kicked out of you. I'll say, hey, roll him up. Whatever hospital you take him to, let us know. We'll pick him up after the game.
Yeah.
Cherry Hill Schools is calling for Jason.
Why the fuck are they calling me?
I don't know.
That's weird.
It's probably some automated thing. Probably PTA wants money or some shit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them. Fuck the fucking Cowboys, and fuck this fucking refereeing crew, because there was a lot of people that you would otherwise think that like they're like, no, it's not the refs. The fucking Eagles played like shit, and they did. The first fucking half of the football game, the Eagles offense once again didn't show up.
But you have to wonder, had that call stood as a fumble, how would that have affected the game? Because the pro football is all about momentum, right? So much of it is about momentum, and
the biggest fucking metric in the NFL is your plus minus. How many fucking takeaways do you have to your giveaways?
Yeah.
Look at the Eagles going to the Super Bowl last year. They were so far and away better. They hardly ever turned over the ball, and they got the ball from people way more often than they gave it.
Yeah.
This year, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of reasons for that.
Well, the secondary.
The secondary is absolute fucking garbage. Let's get through this fucking refereeing thing first, because this is the worst part. Like, this is one of those where you can't tell me, like, you can't be a football fan and go like, well, is this the Dave bitches about the Eagles part of the story? Yes, it is. God damn it. You can't tell me that in any phase of any professional sport, that when it is so obvious that you're not only playing the 11 players on the other side of the field against you, you're also playing the fucking half a dozen referees that are on the field, then you can't tell me that doesn't affect you. You can't tell me it doesn't. It's going to affect your play calling. It's going to affect what you're doing. It's going to force you to do things that you wouldn't otherwise do. It's the same thing in baseball. If you get an umpire that's squeezing the strike zone, that's going to affect the pitching. It's going to affect how the hitters approach it changes everything. Yep. When the officiating becomes the driving force of the fucking game, you've lost it. Mm-hmm. You've lost that fucking game, because you can't go out there and you can't fucking play scared. You can't play thinking about, okay, if I make this pass over the middle, is there going to be a fucking offensive pass interference? If I'm going to hit a fucking wide open tight end who did his check on 3 yards off the line of scrimmage, fucking watch the replay, measure it. It was well within 5 yards. Was not a fucking. There was no pass interference. There's no offensive pass interference. Just like on the other side, there's no fucking way that Ezekiel Elliott fucking led with his helmet in that fucking play. That was insane. You haven't seen that fucking call since preseason.
Well, and that whole rule is crazy, because you played football back in high school and everything, right?
Not in high school, no.
Okay, well, I did, and I'm sure you remember this. Like, part of the thing that they would teach you back in the day is, if you were a ball carrier, put your head down. When you're about to get tackled, put your fucking head down and barrel forward. You can't do that anymore, apparently.
No, and look, you can, but they needed to show like, oh, we're going to come up with this call because we can't appear to have such bias against one team. We can't take a touchdown away from that team and then not call certain things.
Yeah, and
there's no all those things were makeup calls. Seth Joyner,
the sack on Wentz, where they kind of grabbed his leg and pulled him down, is like,
that was bullshit. That was not that should have been a sack.
Yeah.
There were so many things in this game with the officiating that affected the outcome of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's take that. Let's put that aside. Okay, let's put that aside. Let's just talk about the football part of the football.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that me as an Eagles fan look at, personally, I think that Wentz is trying too hard. Statistically, if you look at quarterbacks that come off of big injuries like ACLs and things like that, the year they come back is usually an off year for them.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them go on and they steadily get better, over the years, whether it's because they don't necessarily trust the injury yet, but maybe it's because they want to come back and do too much more, which I think Wentz is in that category. I think you look at Carson Wentz and say, this is the guy who was injured during the fucking Super Bowl, was not the Super Bowl MVP, and he wants so badly to fucking take this team to where he feels he should have taken them the season before.
Yeah, because now he feels like he's got something to prove.
He absolutely does. Whereas the year before, he had nothing to prove.
Mm-hmm.
He had nothing to prove. All he had to do was go out there and play football. Nobody expected them to go to the fucking Super Bowl last year. Yeah. Nobody. Yet there they were. And unfortunately, because he got injured, I think to the day of this day last year when Wentz had the injury. So now you're looking at a Carson Wentz who's when he's on the run, his mechanics are great. When he's in the pocket, the kid, I mean, high school quarterbacks could have better mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not. There's a bunch of I'm not going to get into nitnoy mechanic things, but there's so much that he needs to be coached on. He needs to be coached how to make his reads in that 3 seconds, not constantly fixate on Zach Ertz, and actually hey, you need to throw the ball to this spot so that if the linebacker on the one play on one of the third and longs, Golden Tate's coming in on a slant, you make that throw and catch 99 out of 100 times. You should. This Eagles team isn't. They're not executing on the slants. They're not calling the right plays. They're not playing to their strengths. They have talent. They had wide receiver talent. Mm-hmm. They're not calling plays that are effectively utilizing. So the offense needs work. And I think better days are ahead for the offense, honestly.
Yeah, no, they look good, and they stuck with it, man.
They did. All the bullshit. But it took too fucking long for it to materialize. It took too long for them to pull their fucking heads out of their ass.
Yeah, and by the end of the game, your defense was so fucking
They were gassed.
knackered.
They were fucking gassed. And it's a bend but don't break defense. And with Jim Schwartz at the fucking helm, he's going to continue to kill these fucking defenses. This fucking moron. I don't think that Jim Schwartz is a good coordinator. He was a shitty fucking head coach, and our Detroit bubbas in the fucking chat can speak to that. But this motherfucker lines up a practice squad corner with the number 41, the Busby kid. Number 41 is lined up on their number 1 wide receiver with no safety help. I would make that throw.
Oh, yeah.
To that motherfucker. Because Amari Cooper pulls balls out of thin fucking air. Dak Prescott does not throw the best ball in the world. Amari Cooper somehow makes him look good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there's no way I fucking put the youngest kid on there.
Yeah.
And then not bring safety help. How do you not fucking throw the ball to that guy?
Yeah, well, and also, if you're talking about that last long bomb touchdown pass that he threw to him, the safety was, way out of position. Even when the safety did come over.
Because it was the wrong fucking defense call.
Yeah.
It was the wrong call. The blitz packages they run are wrong because the blitzing players are looking for a number as opposed to looking for the fucking ball. So that's why all of a sudden, if they're looking to get to the quarterback and then fucking Ezekiel Elliott runs free, it's because they're targeting on the fucking number, not the fucking football. Mm-hmm. That's shitty coaching. That's bad play calling.
Yeah.
Dave Martin, if I'm setting up on a defense, what I would do, and if I have a really young corner that can't stay with a guy like Amari Cooper, what do? I have him blitz from the slot, or I have him blitz from the outside. Put pressure on a fucking quarterback. That's what you do with your younger guys, because guess what? If he's running towards the quarterback, then he's not worrying about trying to keep up with one of the fastest guys in the fucking league as a practice squad player.
Yeah.
It's shit like that the Eagles deserve to be in a position they're in because they have not executed well playing football. And I'm angry about it because it's just frustrating, and I get frustrated. This is the Eagles portion of the fucking show that Dave bitches about the Eagles. But I've been doing this since I was a fucking kid. I've been screaming at the television since fucking Randall Cunningham was annoying people. Mm-hmm. So this isn't new for Dave. However, it's about managing expectations for the fucking season. It's hard to repeat the Super Bowl, but they should make the playoffs with the talent they have on this team. And I think they've been exposed. And I think, unfortunately, Jim Schwartz has an out because of all the injuries in the secondary, and they won't fire him. So we're going to be stuck with this guy who on a 3rd and 11 lines everybody up on the fucking yard to gain. 6 players on the yard to gain. The guy thinks if he keeps everything in front of him that nothing will get by him.
Yeah.
And consistently, play after play after play, it doesn't work.
Mhm.
And yet you don't change. It's fucking dumb.
Yep.
It's really dumb. That game, losing it in overtime like that on a fucking play, again, your secondary fucking cost you that play. You should never broke free like that. But there were so many things that happened throughout the game. The Goddard touchdown that was taken away. Those things. They were momentum changers. They forced the Cowboys to, and Jason Garrett's a fucking moron. Look at him. Look at his dumb face. He's the Eli Manning of coaches. He's got a stupid look on his face, and he's like,
yeah.
It's like he's like, oh, I farted. That really doesn't smell good. It like he gets out. How do you fucking, if you're the defensive coordinator and you're like, okay, we're going to bend but don't break and let their fucking field goal kicker, his range is on the other side of the fucking star because he kicked a 62-yarder in that fucking game.
Yep.
The game that Elliott managed to miss a fucking extra point. That ball should have been so fucking flat that you would have had to just stick your fucking helmet in the air to stop it.
Yeah.
You got to practice that shit. That's special teams 101. You go practice a longer kick. Get your fucking arms in the air. No. We're going to let this guy in the fucking house of Jerry built. He probably had some like draft system, like, here, open this window now. And fucking some differential pressure. He fucking carries on some trade win or some bullshit.
I would not be surprised.
I don't trust that team. I don't trust Jerry Jones. I fucking think the whole thing is bullshit.
Yeah.
Honestly, it would not hurt my feelings at all to not watch another NFL game. But I'll watch the Eagles. I'm going to watch the Eagles play the rest of the season because I'm an Eagles fan.
Of course.
I'm still a fucking Eagles fan.
Yep,
I can be frustrated. I'm not going to walk away from the team. I'm not some fucking I've been a fan for my entire fucking life.
Right.
I was born outside of the stadium. So, look, it has nothing to do with my fandom. But god damn it, fucking.
All right. So we've been going a long time about football. So why don't we shift gears here and answer?
Let's talk real quick about the Army Navy game.
Oh my god.
You didn't watch it?
I didn't. I was at work.
So listen, just because Bronco Fett brought it up. So it's kind of related to Star Wars because Bronco Fett brought it up.
I'm trying to get back to Star Wars. He won't let me.
Bronco Fett won't let you. So look, Army was going to win that game. It was Army's they had 9 wins. This was their opportunity to go to 10 wins. Navy is not a good football team this year. And the only reason it was as close as it was because it was Army Navy. It is one of those football games that the tradition and everything else, it is a sight to behold. It'd be worth going to. You should go to at least one. I haven't been one since it's been in a new stadium.
Mm-hmm.
I went as a kid in JFK. Like years and years ago.
Sure.
But I mean, next year it'll be in DC. I'm pretty sure. I think they still flip it. 1 year it's in DC and then it comes back to Philly. So I think that should be like a bucket list thing if you're a football fan, because the spectacle, especially us as military guys, seeing the cadets march in, seeing the middies march in, you're thousands and thousands of them. They're basically they empty the schools out.
Yeah. And
they come up for this game. The president's there. Trump was there with Mattis. And
I didn't realize.
There's a whole tradition with when the president's in the stadium, like he's on the cadet side for the first half, and then the second half he goes over to midshipman or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's not like showing favoritism or anything else. And he stands right in the middle of the crowd. I mean, he's surrounded by fucking admirals and Secret Service and shit. But
sure.
He's right. He's not in the fucking box. He was down there in the fucking crowd. And it is a game that is steeped in tradition. And I was rooting for Navy because I put it out there on all the social medias. I'm a Navy brat.
Mm-hmm. And I was rooting for the winners. So
like he does. Worked out real well for you with Michigan, didn't it?
Yeah, well.
So Army
not working out with the 49ers either.
Army wins their 10th game. They have a really good chance at winning 11 games. For the first time, West Point team has ever won 11 games.
Oh, nobody ever has in the past, huh?
No.
Nice.
This would be that there's been another team that's had a 10-win season. So if they can win their bowl game, which I think is very, very doable, that they have a good football team.
Yeah.
Go
Army.
Yeah. And
maybe you'll be my college team.
No, it won't. Come on. That would be awful. So, all right, that's it.
Well, who am I going to root for? Air Force? Come on.
Yeah.
I would like to root for a winner. So, all right, we're gonna shift this up. First of all, remember last week when we were talking about the potential Facebook group that I might be banned from? So I posted some screenshots on the All Things Star Wars private Facebook group of this guy who like was so mad.
He was
about he's still messaging me on that same thread.
Is he really?
Like he'll write like 2 fucking paragraphs about how I'm a fucking piece of shit, fuck you, fuck this, and I'll just do like a funny Star Wars meme in response. And he'll be like, "You're not answering the question. You're doing it. Fucking you." And he just posted another thing like 10 minutes ago.
Did he really? Let's hear it.
All right, so
let's hear it. It's just Star Wars related because it was based on the Star Wars post.
So I may or may not have compared 2 fictional Star Wars characters to each other in a Facebook post. We'll leave it at that. If you want the details, just go to our private
sign up
Facebook.
for the sidebar cantina.
Yeah, but again, all I was doing was comparing 2 fictional characters from Star Wars to each other. That's it.
Right.
And
listen to how innocent he sounds.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
I can hear the fishing reel on.
So this is his first response. This is all I said. I said like half a sentence. This is the dude's first response. So you just ready? Just look at this. And then I post something. And then he posts something. Oh, wait. No, this is the last 2 responses. I'm sorry. But see, view 22 previous, 12 previous, 2 previous.
Jesus Christ.
So blah, 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 blah. Okay,
time to let it go.
Yeah, I posted a meme. He posted another paragraph. Posting paragraphs. I post a meme. He posts a paragraph.
Jason's such a
troll. He posts another paragraph. I post a meme. He posts a paragraph.
Dude, those aren't paragraphs. Those are dissertations.
Yeah, that was a meme I just posted.
Yeah.
Going down. Another long post. I did the Vader all too easy. And he did another post. So and then I did that response also. So I'm trolling this guy hardcore. And
he keeps buying it. He keeps fucking buying it. This guy is like waking up in the middle of the night to.
Oh yeah, this is happening all hours of the day, including late at night.
Jason is in this guy's fucking dome, man.
It's like a work of fucking art. Like
that's
if trolling was an art, this would be like the fucking Michelangelo of trolling.
It is. This is the Sistine Chapel of trolling.
Yeah. So I had to throw that out there.
That's fucking hilarious. And to be honest, like troll lives matter. If they do indeed.
Yeah.
With or without hair.
So we did mention that we were going to do a bit of an AMA style to take the place of our main topic. And since we've already been going over an hour, we really don't have to do much more. So we're just going to pick some questions that were posted in Facebook.
Yeah.
We'll see if anybody else is throwing anything else in the YouTube live chat, and then we'll call it a day.
What's funny is we proved why we have a separate sports podcast.
Yes.
Again tonight.
Yeah. Apologies for people who tuned in only for Star Wars, but here,
Star Wars time.
Let's see if we can get on track a little bit. David Schmuck, guy who's been listening to me for years and years and years, asked me, I'm a little behind in listening, so I just finished the video game episode. Jason Roskin promised the Han Solo song at the end and didn't deliver. Yes, and we'll get into that. My question is, who is doing the 100 lashes for this egregious issue? So
I'm not doing it. Yeah, I'll leave that to
that sounds wife. A little bit too homoerotic. I don't know, but now I remember like saying that during that show.
You
and
did.
Been completely forgetting when I went to go edit the fucking show because I was probably tired. I'm just like, fuck, I gotta get this posted. I'll pick this intro, pick this exit, plop, post. And then as I'm listening back to it, because I listen to the podcast after I post it, I'm listening to it in one of my commutes to work, and I'm like, fuck, I did say I was going to post that exit song, and I didn't. But I made up for it by posting it as the exit song for the following episode. So.
Does it really make up for it, though, Jason? I mean, people are disappointed here. Yeah, you've upset people's lives.
I know.
Besides the guy that you're trolling.
I'm a terrible person.
So what do you think the record is for trolling in a Star Wars post?
Oh, I'm sure we haven't gotten to that level yet, but we could be getting
It's probably pretty significant. I mean, honestly, this has been going on for
a week now.
A week,
yeah. And it's like you saw 32 replies so far. A majority of them are this guy's, and a majority of them are long dissertations.
They are dissertations, man. It's pretty spectacular.
It's beautiful. And all I did was compared 2 fictional Star Wars characters to each other in appearance. I don't know. I don't know what the big deal is, honestly.
The best part is that some people are just. Some people jump on to certain issues that they don't have a dog in that fight, but they think they're saving the world by making such a big deal out of this. I'm like, dude, nobody fucking cares what you have to say. Welcome to, like, listen, we talk about fucking bags of dicks and sports and Star Wars, probably more sports than Star Wars sometimes. But Star Wars, this is a Star Wars podcast. We have 85 episodes to prove it. We've done Star Wars. So, but we're bullshitting about Star Wars. So who the fuck are we? We're taking full advantage of what's out there for social media and everything else. So far be it for me to fucking poo it. However, some people just need to fucking stop.
Yeah.
Just need to fucking stop. For your trolling thing, and it's not necessarily a Star Wars issue, but it's a space issue.
Yes.
I'm making two things.
Yeah.
See me? I'm making two things. That's my fingers making two things. Or others. Gross. So Steph Curry today, I see come across my phone. Apparently Steph Curry, who's a basketball player for the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Well, you had to look at disbelief on your face.
No, I'm just like, I didn't hear anything about this person today. So
he apparently doesn't believe that we landed on the moon.
Jesus Christ.
Now, my question to you is, why is this relevant? Why is it relevant? Is it because he's a fucking basketball player? Is it because he's famous that his opinion suddenly means more than hundreds upon hundreds of fucking astrophysicists and everyone else who knows that this happened? And oh, by the way, it's look, it's not so unbelievable to think.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much shit that's out there, and it really comes down, like, it's one of those things. I was really fucking stewing about it when I was driving to work this morning because I saw this shit pop across. I'm like, why is this fucking news?
Yeah,
it should not be news. I don't give two fucks if Steph Curry is not dribbling a goddamn basketball. Then I don't give a fuck, and quite frankly, I don't give a fuck when he's dribbling a goddamn basketball. I don't care about the NBA.
Yeah.
So why the fuck do I care whether or not he believes people landed on the moon? Why would a relatively intelligent human being even think that? Because it's trendy? Because it's a topic that, there's a movie coming out about landing on the moon, so now you're going to make a comment about it? You know, whatever you say is going to turn into a thing. So how many other fucking uneducated morons are out there that are playing basketball are going to say, yeah, I don't believe it either. I don't believe it either. I don't believe it either.
Didn't Shaquille O'Neal come out a couple years ago with the whole flat earth thing, saying he was a flat earther?
I don't think it was Shaquille O'Neal.
Somebody did. It was like a basketball player.
It was a basketball player that did that. I forget who it was.
Maybe it was Barkley or something.
It was not Charles Barkley.
I don't know.
Can tell you that right now.
Somebody fucking came out and
but it was a prevalent basketball player had made a statement about that, and it has since recanted.
Oh, okay.
Recanted. Since he dribbled a fucking globe basically for all this time. Yeah, because and then somehow the earth is flat.
And I'm going to say two things right now. If you think the earth is flat, first of all, you're a fucking retard. And second of all, don't listen to my fucking podcast.
Stop drinking my oxygen. You're wasting it.
Yes. In fact, just stop breathing altogether, and our issues will be solved in
Take
about
a long
3.5
walk
minutes.
off our short fucking pier.
Yeah, and don't listen to our fucking podcast if you think the earth is flat. Fuck you.
Yeah, or please respond to us on social media so that we can troll you for, I don't know, the next fucking 50 years.
Yeah.
You fucking moron. But it's the same thing. Like, all right, look, again, bringing us back to something star related.
Yep.
When we're talking about the lunar landing, all right, if you have any kind of intelligence at all or know anything about things, you know.
For the next question.
Okay.
Carry on.
You know that we had rockets, like at the end of World War II, we had missiles. In the 60s, we built giant missiles. And we decided that we're going to put people on top of giant missiles. And then we're going to fire said missiles into space. The computers, Jason and I worked on airplanes that, well, you worked on the 10, which is a little bit newer, but as a mechanic, but I was a mechanic on airplanes that were built in 1955.
Well, I was one for a couple of years on the 135.
So 1955 technology with the We had the gyroscopes in our hands, the N1 and the J4 gyroscopes. We had these computers with the inertial navigation systems and all that other stuff. These things existed in the fucking mid 50s. The things that made the lunar landing happen.
Yeah.
The gyroscopes and all that stuff. It existed in the 50s. To think that they advanced to a point in the 60s that they could have used this technology in space is not so far-fetched, especially for us because we've dealt with this technology.
Mm-hmm.
We literally worked on this technology. In fact, some of it was even older.
Yeah.
So it's not what's easier to believe, that we fucking went through this whole thing to fucking fake it, or that we fucking put people on the top of a rocket, killed a bunch of them in the process, and then fucking did it a bunch of times.
Yeah, and tell that to the families of those people who fucking died trying to do this.
Fuck you, Steph Curry. Who the fuck cares? I don't fucking care about you or your fucking opinions, and you're going to raise your kids in a fucking household like this. How about you send your kids to fucking schools where they're actually going to learn something about it? Hopefully, fuck, if they're in San Francisco, they're probably going to. Anyway,
all right.
What?
So moving on. We got some Facebook questions that actually I think we've been
Star Wars related.
Yeah, Star Wars related. So
we landed on the moon.
Yeah, Bronco Fed asks, what is your opinion of the Legacy comic book series? And as it so happens, I have this trade paperback of the Legacy Book 1, which apparently there were a lot of these fucking books.
There was. I have the trade paperback, but it's not in a hardcover like this.
Yeah.
I have mine is actually like in a bigger book.
Yeah,
and it's not quite as thick.
And this is actually the property of multiple time guest Bob Healy, who loaned this to me in early February of this year, right before I left for Mississippi. Never got a chance to open it, didn't take it with me, so I have yet to actually open this and read it.
That's okay, because Bob doesn't listen to the podcast, so he won't.
Yeah, but one thing I wanted to say was this is something that's always been on my radar. Like, I love the idea of this book that takes place 150 years in the future in the old. Now, keep in mind this is Legends, so. But what they did was, about the time that they were doing that last Legacy of the Force series, they started making the Star Wars Legacy series. And there were comics from Dark Horse, back when Dark Horse still had the license. And they jumped ahead like 150 years in the timeline. And the main character in this is this Cade Skywalker guy who's like Luke Skywalker's like great grandchild or some shit like that. Quite frankly, he looks like he prefers the company of other men, at least in the cover of this book. So I don't know if his personal life is really explored in this, but yeah, he looks like he's into dudes. I'll just say that. And
I don't know why that's irrelevant, but okay.
Yeah.
As long as he believes that we landed on the moon and the Earth is round, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. So no, this has been on my radar. I've wanted to read this for a long time. Maybe this is something we look at for future episodes of the.
Yeah, I have a copy of it. You have Bob Healy's copy of it. I think we can push through that.
And
Absolutely.
it's also on Marvel Unlimited too. So, and yeah, this is again Legends material, but it gets into, is that fucking R2D2? That's fucking R2D2.
Of course it is.
What the fuck? Now I really want to read it and see what the hell they did with this. But yeah, future of Star Wars, Luke's great grandchild, and apparently he's Force sensitive, but he's not a Jedi. So I don't know. I'm curious how the whole story goes.
Yeah, we can dedicate some time to that while we're like in between. We're doing Clone Wars stuff.
Yeah. Now, so to answer your question, I didn't read it, but I want to.
Yeah, and I think that's honestly posted up as a future episode. Yeah. I think. Or a series of future episodes while we're in the middle of Clone Wars.
Sure.
And hopefully when my schoolwork slows down and I'm not prepping to be the commander of a fucking 300-person unit.
Yeah.
300 person unit, which is also what I've been doing in my week in not Star Wars.
Yeah. Brother Fett asked in a different language, is there any help for the widow's son? Which I have no idea what the fuck that means.
That's a Masonic thing.
Oh, okay.
What language did he ask in Portuguese?
Whatever that jumbled garbage is.
Oh, that's Russian.
Oh. You fucking Russian bot, Brother Fett?
Huh.
Can you read that? Looks like
I can read the letters. Like that's wobbly, dude. Yeah.
All right. So do you have an answer for this? Because I'm
not going to answer it.
Okay. So Mark Somerville, our man, Mark Shotgun Somerville asks, are we big into conventions? So we talked about this a little bit before. I mean, I love the concept. Here's the thing about these fucking Wizard World conventions that they have. They have the one in Philly every year, every summer here. It's awesome. I've been to a few. You guys have seen some of the pictures. I've gotten pictures with fucking Ray Park, aka Darth Maul. Gotten a picture with Stan Lee back when he was doing the convention circuit. They're really fun, but they're fucking expensive. Like
Mhm.
they're expensive to get in. Like if you want to get any kind of VIP thing, and then each individual booth with these fucking celebrities can cost a big fucking chunk of money. I talked about what was her name? Shannon Elizabeth
Mhm.
wanted $50 to fucking sign my copy of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back on DVD. I'm like, fuck you. So it's they're a neat concept, but they're really expensive. If you go, even if you go to like buy souvenirs and shit,
Mhm.
or buy stuff at the vendors, that shit's expensive. Fucking seeing the celebrities is expensive. Getting into the fucking convention is expensive. You get to see the cosplayers and stuff, but that shit wears off pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
So I like the concept. I just wish I was either rich or the shit wasn't so expensive.
I think my biggest issue with conventions, honestly, is the amount of people that filter through there.
Mhm.
And the conventions are now the mainstream, whereas before the conventions were part
Yeah.
of the, um, part of being a part of something that was not really mainstream.
And that's a whole discussion in itself.
Yeah.
Like fandom back in the day wasn't mainstream, like you said. It was
Right.
like it was a more of a smaller core group of people.
Mhm.
You had your core Star Wars sci-fi nerds, or you had your Star Trek people,
Mhm.
and these corporations have kind of bastardized these to an extent, and they've made them these fucking just
Well, what you had was you had
monstrous.
San Diego Comic-Con, which was so big, and it turned into like now there's going to be exclusive things happening at the Comic-Con and everything
Yeah,
else. So now that became the thing that places like toy developers and movies and shit like that.
right.
Everyone wanted to be a part of the con, and that's where they wanted to release information, and it became bigger and bigger and bigger. Remember the G4 when that was
Oh
out?
yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
used to have a whole station just for fucking nerds to be
Mm,
able to watch Olivia Munn in her fucking Wonder Woman outfit or dressed up as Princess Leia, which was fucking
that's
fantastic.
right. I forgot that's where she got her start.
Yes, yes, and that
Or fucking Morgan Webb and her fake tits. You know.
all of the above,
Yes.
and it honestly, once it became mainstream, I think that's when the cons became too much.
Yeah.
And the Wizard World and stuff like it. Yeah, it's really cool to be able to interact. And sometimes you go find a comic book artist who just happens to be there fucking signing shit. He's not charging money. You can buy an exclusive cover from a guy, and pay $15,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
something like that. So that's pretty cool. But like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the people, like all the amount of people that end up going
Sure.
through these things.
Mhm.
And aside from all the things that you said, the other thing is on the pro side of that, I still want to go. I want to go as the podcast and like try and go and do like a podcast from that because I
Yeah.
think that'd be
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's other podcasts that have done it. There's the Philly Six, the Bounty
That's
Hunters.
the Sinister Six guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those guys. Um, they had a booth last year
Yep.
in Philly. So I definitely think that it's something that if we were doing a podcast from it, I'd have a much more enjoyable experience because then we could like pull random people over and like get their opinions of stuff. And I think that would be fun
That would be fun.
to do it from like the podcast perspective. But to just go in there just to walk around and be like push up against people and just that see humanity. I'm obviously, if you haven't been able to tell, I'm not a giant fan of other humans. Like
Mhm.
I have a select group of human beings that I want to spend my time with, and a group of that includes thousands upon thousands of them that are all fucking elbowing each other to get to a book or a signing or something like that. That's not where I want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's yeah. No, there's no. You'd have to pay me a lot of money to be in that crowd. Now, if I'm sitting behind a table and all that stuff is happening in front of me, it'd be a little bit easier to swallow. And we could probably make it fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been to a couple. I've been to some smaller ones. So anyway, real quick before we get by it, Mark Somerville has told us that the bet was for Luke's tail gunner against the 80 AT-ATs,
All right.
and then you incorrectly identified it as somebody, and
Yeah.
I said it was Dak,
Who did I say it was?
not Dak.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
That's
So
what
I
it was
guess
for.
$2 of those are yours.
Yeah, we'll leave them up there.
For what though?
We'll push them up for later.
All right. So thank you, Mark. God damn
Yes.
it.
So I'm glad you guys are out there.
You guys are the best. That's why we love our listeners.
I have to like lean back like this with one eye just to fucking see the screen. It's ridiculous.
All right. Did we get any more questions in the YouTube chat? It doesn't look like it. So going back to Facebook. Okay. So David Schmuck asked, who do you think the top Star Wars character that should get a one-shot movie? Okay. Who do you think is the top Star Wars character that should get a one-shot movie? Aside from Lando, it's a Dynamite taste.
It's a Dynamite taste.
See, we've talked about this before. And these fucking spin-off movies. Do we need everybody's backstory? Do we need a one-shot?
Well, I think the purpose of the question is to get like, if we could choose one that was going to happen that would be worth watching, who would we choose it to be on?
Okay. See, I'm kind of in the mindset of I don't want to see any more shit from the past. In the immediate past, from like fucking episode 1 on. I don't want to see a one-shot movie. I want to see something way before that. I want to see an Old Republic one shot or something to that effect. Even if it's something like a movie around Bastila Shan or her, I think it was her daughter, Satele. I'd like to see something, around one of those two in the time of the Old Republic. Maybe even before the big start of the Sith War and all that. But I don't want to see.
Well, what about Revan?
I think Revan's trilogy worthy, honestly. His story is so big that I think you can't fit it all into one movie. And if you tried, it would end up being like shit.
Well, but that's the thing. Like, if we're going to pick a character like Old Republic, that I think that you could,
if I can get a trilogy out of it, yes, I'll do Revan.
Yeah, because I think that's, if you're going backwards, the Darth Bane stuff is definitely interesting and it's a good read, which you still have to finish, but I don't think it's worthy, like movie worthy. And maybe you probably could squeeze all 3 of those books into one movie. You probably could. Revan, you couldn't. There's too much there. I agree with you. It'd have to be a trilogy.
Yeah.
But it's also if you did a trilogy like that, that'd be a really good kickoff for a lot of Old Republic stuff. And it can continue on from there. For me, let's talk about the Skywalker lineage, as far as Star Wars goes. If I had to pick a character out of that, if I remembered what I thought of a few seconds ago before I started talking about the other thing, I'd be in good shape. So why don't you think of?
Well, so I'm thinking if we went into like the past and the past of Skywalkers, maybe we get a movie about Luke's grandfather, the date rapist who likes to drug women and impregnate them under the cover of darkness to where they think that they're, pregnant without a father. The Tatooine rapist.
There was no father.
Yeah. No, bitch, you were just on roofies. So.
Oh my God, Jason.
You tell me they don't have some sort of roofie equivalent in the Star Wars universe.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
There's probably something in the death sticks.
Yeah. There it is.
No, I mean, like, I think what he's trying to allude to is like, like the Boba Fett's and those other things.
Yeah, but like none of that stuff interests me. I don't really care about a Boba Fett movie because they're gonna fuck it up. I don't care about an Obi-Wan movie because they're gonna fuck it up.
Well, they don't need, and plus we've said it at length that they don't need an Obi-Wan.
Right, and they don't need these movies.
No.
You know what I'd like to see? How old is that dude that played the fucking clones in episode 2 and 3? The dude that was Jango Fett, also that actor.
Is he New Zealand guy?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would love to see a movie about a fucking clone trooper that either after the war ended, he's like, well, now what the fuck am I going to do? Or he defects during the fucking war.
What about Rex? Like Rex and those guys. What happens between when they get found by the Rebels guys?
Yeah.
They're rolling out there all of a sudden fishing for fucking dune worms.
Yeah. So like something like that could be interesting, because I do like that aspect of the Clone Wars era is the clones themselves and how, even though they're meant to be like fucking just drones, basically, they do have independent thought and they can, break off from that.
I think you're missing the most obvious one, and it's Plagueis.
Oh yeah.
I think Plagueis is the one where if you're going to have a single movie that talks about a character that's mentioned in canon, and we saw it expertly written in a book, but that is no longer canon.
Right.
I think that there's development there for how we got to Palpatine.
Yeah.
And I think if you went one step back to before Palpatine, while he was the apprentice, then I think that's worth a movie. Like, of all the characters, like all the main characters, like we got a Solo movie that we didn't necessarily need, but was good.
Yeah.
It was well executed, but we didn't need that. I agree with you. We don't need a Boba Fett movie because, quite frankly, I don't think there's enough of it there.
Right.
There's a lot of extrapolation. Something we're going to see something with the Mandalorians in this new series.
Yeah, and they
which
could
I
wrap
hope
that into.
Yeah, I hope gives us a much better perspective of the Mandalorians themselves, and what happened on Mandalore and with Darth Maul and also stuff. And expand upon the things that were initially talked about in Clone Wars. But see, this time it's you playing with the mic, not me.
Yeah, well, I can hear it like rubbing, like the pop filter rubbing against the mic. So I'm like, that probably sounds really loud on the audio side.
You'll fix it in post. Don't worry about it. So, yeah, for me, it's Plagueis. I want to see. I want to see the backstory with Darth Plagueis, like how we got from this Sith lineage to where we got to Palpatine.
Yeah.
If you're going to talk about something, and the best part of that is it'll be dark, because it's going to be the Sith had been dormant for so long,
and
that
they're
all the
plotting
things,
their revenge this whole time.
Yeah, so it's how we got from that point to the recruitment of Palpatine and those things. I think that would be a brilliant fucking movie.
Yeah,
and I think it's something that needs to be reintroduced in the canon, because again, you can start moving your way backwards on something like that, or you can go back and move your way towards Plagueis or whatever. But I think that's a story that needs to be told.
The only challenge with that would be casting somebody who would be a young Palpatine casting the right actor.
They could. I don't disagree with you there, but I think they could find somebody.
Probably.
Get the guy from Robot Chicken who did the fucking voice. Go for Papa Palpatine.
Yeah,
that guy.
Well, that's Seth MacFarlane that did that
I
voice. All right, so
I'm joking.
Along the same lines, Tony Ferrari asked, "What obscure character would we be interested in seeing in a TV series or a spin-off movie?" So along the same lines, but he specifies like novels, comics, movies, characters, all acceptable, but has to be canon. So, like for me, if it had to be canon, and it's a series, I want to see something in the current time. So I want to see something in the sequel trilogy era, not Resistance. I want to see something after fucking Last Jedi.
Okay. But before Episode 9?
Even after Episode 9. Like, that's it. Like, I'd like to see Episode 9 finish, find out where we are in that universe, then start an ongoing series from there.
Okay.
Because that's one thing that we may never have in these fucking TV shows, like all these live action, all these animated shows. They never show us what happened afterwards.
Well, I think it's tough to do because because the movies are ultimately the canon, right?
Yeah.
Despite, I know we had a conversation about this before where we talked about, can you have Star Wars without the movies?
Yeah.
Type conversation. And to me, you have to. The movies are the baseline. And maybe they go away from that. I hope they don't. But I think if you're going to have a successful spin-off of something like that, you almost have to run perpendicular to what's happening in the current canonical timeline, because it's building on the basis of something that already has a fan base.
Yeah.
If you start from the other side of that and you don't have concurrent movies that go along with that, to me, that anything, even though the production value is really, really good on some of these things, that they're spending a lot of money on making these spin-off series like Star Wars things, I still think that the biggest bang is going to be with a movie. And if you try and make a movie out of something that like just existed in animated form or something like that, I think it's going to be really, really tough to go that big on top of something that's already built.
True.
I just think it'd be hard to do.
You're right.
Can it not be done? Yeah. Maybe, but I was just to add to some of the stuff that's going on in the chat. We got Mark Somerville was with the Darth Bane. Again, I think they could do that entire trilogy in one movie.
Yep.
And it would be interesting, but it would stand alone by itself. Whereas I think the Plagueis thing, you could tie it into the current canon. Yep. Like you could see the effect of whatever they do in a movie and how it affects the current canon, and how Palpatine became the master manipulator that he is.
All right, so I'm not seeing any other AMA questions in the chat, so we're going to answer these last two AMA questions on Facebook and then call it an episode. So First, big love in his ass going back to the caravan that's coming to New Jersey.
Right.
Are we going to have a fucking blast for episode 100 for the New Jersey Exodus? What are some possible activities? I can't fucking wait. So, I mean, it depends. Have you been to this area before? Like,
Probably not.
there's a shitload of touristy stuff to do here that's actually like, if you're gonna be here in this fucking Philly area, you gotta do. Like, there's a couple of things you gotta fucking see, a couple places you gotta fucking eat. And then yeah, we can just fuck around for a day or so.
So let's look at the calendar real quick. Let's actually spend some time, since it's difficult for us to find time to do it when we're working and shit.
Yeah. So we're recording episode 85. No. Yes.
85.
85 right now.
85.
So 15 weeks from right now. So one.
What date did you get?
March 25th.
That's what I got.
Okay. So that's 2 weeks before my vacation.
Okay.
So that is doable.
It is doable.
Much like your mother.
Mm.
I don't know why I said that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's late March. I can't think of anything I have going work-wise. Is there any holidays in the area? What the hell is Holy or Holly?
I have no idea. It's on
March
my calendar
21st.
too. Obviously doesn't affect us.
Yeah, and then
unless we're off from work, it doesn't affect us.
Fucking really? Apple actually flags April 1st as April Fool's Day. Come on. It's not a real fucking holiday. Neither is Valentine's Day.
Or Mother's Day, according to you.
Yeah. Oh, shots fired. God damn it. I hope Kristen's not listening. Fuck. Because I'm pretty sure I was forced to issue an apology last time.
You were.
And swear that I wouldn't say anything negative again.
Well, you didn't say it. I did. You just agreed to it.
Okay, good.
You're the one that's going to get in trouble, though, not me.
Yeah.
So the 25th.
It's
so
a
the
Monday.
question is, so we record usually on a Monday.
Yes, it doesn't get released for like a week after that.
So I would think that we'd have to set up to record on a Saturday or Sunday.
That would make sense.
Just to accommodate, if people were legitimately coming in, you guys are crazy.
Yes.
I love you. So if we did like the 23rd or the 24th, if we like say we did the night of the 23rd,
okay,
like, and we just, I could get us a spot. We could set up to record,
like at the lodge.
Yeah, we could do the lodge.
Okay,
like I'll own the building for a year, so
yeah.
I can get us in.
You are the emperor.
I know a guy.
Yeah,
I am the emperor. Starting Friday.
Sweet.
Fuck,
I gotta get my blues out.
Yes, you do.
God damn it.
So yeah, if we like Saturday the 23rd, like if the guys came in like on Friday night, we could, potentially go do something, like take whoever comes in, we can go take them to Iron Hill, and
yeah.
they can taste Iron Hill.
Yeah, local craft brewery.
Yeah, we can there's plenty of hotels in the area because we're so close to Philly. So
yeah,
we could put them up in Cherry Hill somewhere, and then which actually would work out if they were like, there's a Crown Plaza that's
that's the hotel where they have conventions.
Yes.
In the fucking bottom floor of it.
Yep.
Every
so
year.
If we made arrangements to get guys so they can stay in there, and then it'd be easy back and forth. It's kind of in between Philly and the studio.
Yep.
So we could do that, and then we could take guys into the city, do some sightseeing in Philly, kind of take them for a tour. Hopefully the weather will be nice.
Yeah.
And then we'll tape Saturday night, have a bit of a party out of it. And then everybody can go on their way on Sunday.
All right. So we can accommodate 4 more microphones into this mixer. So we can have 6 people talking at once.
Well, and you could double up, like you've seen it on other podcasts when they have guests, like they'll have like one microphone between 2 people.
Yeah.
So, and that it works. It still sounds okay.
Yeah.
So the only thing that we're going to need to make sure, we'll have to get in early and set up the equipment, so that because it is a hall, so it's going to have an echo
Yeah.
effect to it.
And we'd have
So
oh yeah, we
so
got to take that into account.
yeah, so we'll run some of the technical stuff and get more cameras operating. Hopefully before then,
Yeah.
we need the camera shit going by the thing. So let's do that. Let's put a pin in the calendar for the 100th episode. We'll tape on March March 23rd.
Okay, Saturday the 23rd of March. Now, again, don't buy fucking train tickets yet because I got to make sure I can get that like those couple of days off from work. I got to find out when the fucking drill weekend is. Hold on.
It's not going to be that weekend.
How do you fucking know?
I guess maybe it's from being in that unit for 22 years.
Hold on. I've got the fucking calendar. Drill weekend in March is the 9th and 10th. Fuck you. So, all right.
$2 more, please.
I did not bet anything on that. So, all right, don't buy any tickets yet. Let me make sure I can get some leave on like the 21st.
So, how many fucking times, like throughout these years, that somebody like you've seen it, you've done it, like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, and yes, I do, Jason. I know things.
Yes. You
need to fill your glass, by the way.
Okay. So that's it. I thought I had like one more question on the Facebook group. Isaac Sipe, you'd be better to equip to answer this one. Isaac Sipe wants to know, what's your favorite Star Wars Lego set?
Oh wow, like a set?
He specifically said Lego set.
See, I'm not a set guy. I like the build.
Well, I think a set could even be considered like just a Millennium Falcon as a set, as a Lego set.
I wish I had one. I wish I had a Millennium Falcon. That would be like ideal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my favorite Lego Star Wars piece has to be the TIE Fighter.
Of course.
Like, it's a good piece. And let's from some of the obvious stuff, right? So the X-Wing is probably a little bit out of scale to the figure. Like, the X-Wing is a little bit bigger than the figure.
Yeah, it's actually a lot bigger.
So it's not real. The scale's a little bit off. It's still a great build.
Mm-hmm.
For the X-Wing, because it has some stuff on it, like it has the rubber bands to make the S foils expand and contract.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good build. The TIE Fighter is a fairly easy build, but for the scale aspect of the actual figure, it's almost perfect.
Yeah,
and that's one of the reasons I like it. I'm all about scale stuff, like when it comes to shit like that. Yeah. That's why if I did a Millennium Falcon, I want that Millennium Falcon to be the scale of the TIE Fighter that I have.
Yeah.
Like the TIE Fighter is like my baseline for scaling,
mm-hmm.
And everything off of that. Another good build that doesn't get much recognition is the Snowspeeder. The Snowspeeder is a good build because it has the tail gunner.
Yep.
So it has the actual like hook. So if you had an AT-AT, which they have those builds
too. I was going to mention, my son had an AT-AT. This was like 8 years ago. He got an AT-AT. I built it, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And it was fucking beautiful until he broke it like 3 days later. And I'm like, I'm not rebuilding that.
Yeah, leave that on him.
Mm-hmm. Which it never happened, by the way.
Do you still have the Legos?
Probably.
We could do that.
He's got a massive fucking box of Legos. Oh my God, all kinds of Star Wars sets that have been broken over the years.
Yeah, that's friend of the podcast, John, he had a significant amount of like older Star Wars Lego sets.
Yeah,
that were part of the collection, like the droid decals, the
destroyers.
The destroyers. So
with the shields and shit.
So it was about yay tall. Like, I don't know.
Damn.
It was.
Oh yeah, you had it in your office for a while.
Yeah, we had put it together. Like, and that's like he had it all taken apart, had it in the box, and put it together. Now the rubber bands on it were like deteriorated because the thing was fucking 15 years old. But those are build sets. But yeah, honestly, anything with the ships, the TIE Fighters, the Snowspeeder, like I said, I like that one. I don't have anything bigger than a starship in my set. I have some smaller stuff, but I'd love to get an AT-AT or even an ATST.
Yeah, the AT-ATs are pretty.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I never had the Death Star build.
Oh again. No! Well, first of all, those things started at like $500.
Yeah, and they're not to scale. Like again, I'm big. I'm all about scale. If you're not into that, like it is about the time of season where I do have to post something. I'll post it in a group of my my Lego Star Wars train thing that I built a few years back.
Yeah.
That had the Star Wars integration into some of the other Lego universe, and some builds with that. I'll do some more research. I'll have to. You know what I'll have to do? I'll have to look to see what my my Lego Star Wars wish list would look like.
Oh, there you go.
That would be interesting to talk about, because and then it'll give me an excuse to like, oh wow, might have a couple extra ducats, and maybe I can go get something like this.
Yes, very nice. All right, so I think we're going to close it out with that. This was
extra ducats are at a premium.
Yeah, sorry, this was sort of a kind of a monkey fuck of an episode.
We did it live.
Speaking of which, you know the old saying, "Monkey fucking a football."
Yeah.
I say that at work a lot, and everybody looks at me like I've got like 3 heads when I say that. They're like, "I've never heard somebody say that before."
We've it's been around the squadron. That's a Chuck Brinzerism.
Yeah.
So that's where I picked it up, and I use it constantly.
Yeah, and I use it constantly at work now, and everybody just like looks at me.
I think my wife has actually said it at work too. Some of the Davisms come out of her at work, and I think people give her the same look at like, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah.
Like she's a couple of the Davisms have really taken people by surprise, and like,
but yes. I get a couple of good laughs out of it too. So
it is funny. It's funny to watch people's reactions.
Yeah, and like they're just like, "What did I just hear?"
Yeah, exactly. And then you have to explain it. And
and really, they look like a monkey trying to fuck a football at that point as they're trying to figure it out.
A lot of times.
So, but that was fun. We'll try to have a real topic for next week. I don't fucking know.
Well, I can tell you right now that I told you at breakfast this morning, I'm probably not going to be available till next Tuesday.
Okay.
Just because of the way my next 8 days looks like. So it's going to be a busy week for the Dave.
Yes.
Coming up. So
we'll figure something out, as we always tend to do.
Yep.
And holiday special live December 23rd.
December 23rd. Be there or be square.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And until then, Dave and everybody else, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
It's kind of a weird echo effect after that. So
okay, now what do I click?
Peace, bitches.